Hello, hello. Time for a new lesson. Today's lesson is about multiplying and dividing positive and negative numbers. It's actually one of the more simple lessons. So, let's begin. First, we need to talk a little bit about notation. I do not want you using this symbol, an x, for multiplication. X is a variable. We're not going to be using it for multiplication, so cross that right out. You can use a dot. For example, if I wanted to do 4 times 7, I could put 4 times 7 equals 28. That's not actually what I want you to do. I want you to write multiplication like this. 4 times 7 equals 28. It is not the parentheses that indicate that this is multiplication. It is the nothing that indicates multiplication. The fact that there is nothing between the 4 and the value that follows shows that this is multiplication. Let's see. So if I said 4 plus negative 7, that would mean plus. If I said 4 minus negative 7, that would be minus. If I said 4 divided by negative 7, that would be division. You can see that there's a symbol between them. If I say 4 with nothing, negative 7, that means it is multiplication. So, the symbol for multiplication is nothing. When you see nothing, you know it's multiplying. Okay, so that's notation. All right, so what is multiplication? What is the definition of multiplication? Well, here is a definition of multiplication. It's actually wrong, but I'm going to write it down for now, and we're going to change it later on. It is repeated addition. And this is probably what you learned in 4th or 5th grade when you learned about multiplication. You may have learned about it in 3rd grade also. So, let's see. This means 3 times 4. It means 4 plus 4 plus 4. The value is 12, but it means 4 plus 4 plus 4. Interestingly, this does not mean 4 plus 4 plus 4. This means 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. They mean different things. They have the same value, but they mean different things. This number right here is called the coefficient. Coefficient. It says how many. Whatever that number is, that's the coefficient. The coefficient here is 4. The coefficient here is 3. That's what a coefficient is. C-O-E-F-F-I-C-I-E-N-T. Coefficient. Okay. So, let's talk about positive and negative numbers. Let's first do the simple one, positive times positive. Positive times positive. Well, let's see. Let's do 3 times 4. That would be 4 plus 4 plus 4. We're taking 4 and we're adding it 3 times. Well, 4 is a positive number. Positive numbers go up. This goes up and up and up. Is it ever going to turn around and turn to down? No, it doesn't matter how many we have. It is always going to go up. And since it starts out at 0, and goes up and up and up and up, the only type of an answer it can have is a positive answer. So therefore, positive times positive always equals positive. Is that true of addition? Well, let's see. 3 plus 4, that's 7. Will it always be true? Yes. This is one case where it is. All right, so 3 plus 4 is 12. Okay, that's positive times positive. What about positive times negative? Well, if 3 times 4 is 4 plus 4 plus 4, then what would 3 times negative 4 be? Well, the coefficient is 3, so how many will we have? We'll have 3. What will we have 3 of? We're not going to have 3 4s. We're going to have 3 negative 4s. So, we want negative 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 4. These parentheses here just separate it so we don't think that it's some weird thing. Anyway, I don't need them in the first one because there's no plus sign in front of it. So, negative 4 goes down. Down, and down, and down. We start at 0. We go down and down and down and down. It's never going to turn around. What kind of an answer is this going to be? This is going to be a negative. It is always a negative value. So 3 times negative 4 is equal to negative 12. Let's try a few of these. 5 times negative 7. 12 times negative 10. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. 12 times negative 10 is negative 120. 5 times 7 is 35, and that negative means that it is negative. 12 times 10 is 120. That negative means that it's negative. Okay, so we've done 2 things so far. We've done positive times positive is positive, and positive times negative is negative. Now it's time to get a little bit weird, because now we're going to talk about negative times positive. Well, okay. So this is the idea of negative 3 times 4. It's an interesting thing. When we multiplied by 3, we added 3 times. When we multiplied by 3, we added 3 times. When we multiplied by 3, we added 3 times. 3 and negative 3 are not the same type of numbers. They're opposites of each other. When we multiplied by 3, we added 3 times. The opposite of 3 is negative 3. What's the opposite of adding? It's subtracting. When you multiply by a negative number, you're not repeated adding, it's repeated subtraction. So the definition of multiplication is not correct. It is not just repeated addition, it is repeated addition or subtraction. It's repeated addition when the coefficient is positive, It is repeated subtraction when the coefficient is negative. Okay, so if we have a negative times a positive, we're not going to add 3 times, we're going to subtract 3 times. So I will put minus, minus, minus. And what number are we subtracting 3 times? 4. So 4, 4, 4. See how we subtracted 4 and subtracted 4 and subtracted 4? Now you're going to say to me, Mr. Zengerle, we didn't put a plus sign in front of this negative 4, and we didn't put a plus sign in front of this positive 4. How come I put a minus sign there? Well, because when nothing is there and you know that it's addition, you know it's a plus sign, it's assumed it's positive. We need the negative sign there because it has to be there to indicate that we're subtracting all 3 of them. We're not just subtracting the last 2. Okay, so we're subtracting 4. Subtracting 4. Does that go up or down? That goes down. Remember terms. Here's 1 term. Here's a 2nd term. Here's 3 terms. This is going to go down and down and down and down and down. Starting at 0, it goes down and down and down. So what kind of a number will it be? It will always be negative. Did I misspell always? That's better. So, and that makes sense, doesn't it? After all, multiplication has to be commutative property. If 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, then 4 times negative 3 would be negative 12, and therefore negative 3 times 4 would also have to be negative 12. Simple, 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 right? Okay, let's get a little weird. Now we're going to talk about the most complicated one. It's not hard, it's just complicated. Negative times negative. So, it would be negative 3 times negative 4. Okay, here's the coefficient. Is it negative or positive? That coefficient is negative. Are we going to be adding or subtracting? We're going to be subtracting because the coefficient is negative. See? The coefficient is negative, it's repeated subtraction. So, minus, minus, minus. But what number are we subtracting? We're subtracting negative 4. So I have to put negative 4s in those spaces. So, interesting. We're doing minus negative 4, minus negative 4, minus negative 4. This looks awfully confusing. I'm going to make it less confusing by drawing boxes around each term. All right. Is this term positive or negative? This term is positive, it goes up. This term is positive, it goes up. This term is positive, it goes up. It goes up and up and up. Does it ever turn around and go down? No. So the result of multiplying negative times negative is always positive. So actually, in the end, it ends up being the same rules as before. 1 negative, no negatives, is positive. 8. Positive. 1 negative is negative. Opposite of 8. Negative 8. 1 negative, no matter where it is negative. negative 8. Two negatives cancel each other out and become positive. Very simple. Now, that's how easy multiplication is. Just to give you an example, here's a few quick little expressions. Let's use 7 times 3, negative 7 times 3, negative 7 times negative 3, and 7 times negative 3. Let me erase that extra mark. Okay. So, equals, 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 equals. First one, any negatives? Nope. Therefore, the result is positive 21. Second one, how many negatives? One negative. So, it's negative 21. There's not a second one to cancel it out. Third one, two negatives. They cancel each other out. That's positive 21. Last one, one negative. 7 times negative 3, negative 21. Simple. What if we have three numbers? Let's try 7 times 3 times 2. Or negative 7 times 3 times 2. Or negative 7 times negative 3 times 2. Or negative 7 times negative 3 times negative 2. Okay, let's see what happens. All right, first thing I'm going to do is go left to right. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 times 2 is 42. No reason to put it negative. Negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. Negative 21 times 2, there's not a second negative to cancel it out. It's negative 42. Negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. Positive 21 times 2 is positive 42. Negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21, times negative 2 will then make it negative 42. It's just like negative 4, opposite, opposite, opposite. If you've got an even number, it's positive. If you have an odd number, it's negative. Now, I promised you that we would also be doing division, and so we are. Okay. 3 times 4 equals 12, so 12 divided by 4 equals 3. By the way, I don't use this symbol. It's stupid. I just write it like fractions. Fractions are divisions. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Negative 3 times 4 equals negative 12. Negative 12 divided by 4 has to be negative 3. I'm just going backwards. Negative 3 times negative 4 equals 12. 12 divided by negative 4 has to be negative 3. Last one, 3 times negative 4 equals negative 12. Negative 12 divided by negative 4 equals positive 3. Let's analyze. Any negatives here? Nope. So it's positive. How many negatives here? 1. So it's negative. How many negatives here? 1. So it's negative. How many negatives here? 2. And they cancel each other out, and it's positive. Notice the rules for division are exactly the same as the rules for multiplication. I'll just do a little summary here to make sure that everyone gets the idea. Positive times positive equals positive, and similarly, positive divided by positive equals positive. Positive times negative equals negative, and similarly, positive divided by negative equals negative. Negative times positive equals negative. negative divided by positive equals negative. And lastly, negative times negative equals positive, because the two of them cancel each other out. And negative divided by negative equals positive, because the two of them cancel each other out. And that's the idea. That's as simple as it can be. It really is a very simple lesson. I just wanted to